YouTube, I'm Jocelyn and I'm a violinist. I hope you're still hanging in there. It really has been a very difficult time for all of us. In today's video, I'm going to talk about overcoming anxiety. I have been battling with anxiety since about 10 years ago, and it really got the best of me just about 5 years ago and 2 years ago. I'm definitely better now, not necessarily having fewer attacks, but I've learned how to cope with it better. So if you're interested, do watch on. I have been reading this book titled Overcoming Anxiety, written by Gill Hasson. Let me show you the book. So yes, this book. You could click on the links below if you're interested to have a read. I am in no way an expert in this field, so this monologue is based on this book, and it's basically a summary of what I learned and how it helped me overcome my anxiety as a musician. And hopefully it will help you out as well. And as usual, if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give it a like and share. First, let's talk about what anxiety actually is. There are 3 aspects into anxiety: the physical, the cognitive, and the behavioral aspects. For the physical aspect, you might be experiencing muscle tensions, rapid breathing, rising blood pressure, and changes in blood supply to your digestive system, causing nausea and frequent visits to the loo. For the cognitive aspect, you might experience things such as losing control, having faint spells, unable to stop thinking that people are looking at you or judging you, feeling things are slowing down or speeding up, and wanting to escape the situation. Lastly, for the behavioral aspect, you might be pacing up and down the room, biting your nails, chain smoking, or not turning up for something. Let me give you a real-life example of how these 3 aspects work together. So picture this. It's your recital. Before you get on stage, you start having rapid breathing, increased pulse, and your stomach starts churning. When you finally get on stage, you look at the audience and start thinking how all these people will be judging your playing and thinking you're just making a fool of yourself, which results in you wanting to escape the situation where you freeze or exit the stage. This is where anxiety becomes a problem, as it overwhelms you and paralyzes you. The 3 aspects of anxiety also interact with each other and just simply make things worse. In another example, a more recent one, during this coronavirus pandemic, musicians have been out of jobs in the gigging and the concert sectors. And a lot of us have been depending on these to earn a living. In this situation, some of us might experience a heightened level of anxiety out of fear and uncertainty of our present and our future. How long is this gonna last? Am I going to survive? How am I supposed to pay my bills? With less things to do and more time on our hands, we tend to spiral into negative thoughts easier, which makes our anxiety that much worse. To understand your anxiety, let's talk about self-talk or our inner voice. You know that familiar voice you hear 24/7 above everything else that's happening around you? This self-talk actually shapes your beliefs and actions. There are neutral self-talks. I think I'll make a Milo. There are positive self-talks. I can do this. And there are negative self-talks. I'm hopeless and I'm useless, which comes with being worried and anxious. Negative self-talk is also known as cognitive distortions. They make you feel bad about yourself and your abilities. The types of negative self-talks that affected me as a musician include 1. Jumping to a conclusion, 2. Overgeneralization, 3. Tunnel thinking, 4. Perfectionist thinking, and 5. Emotional reasoning. What happens to your mind is that it starts to learn how you cope with situations and circumstances. Every time you are faced with an undesired situation, your brain starts using the same neural pathways, and that habit of thinking is actually strengthened. To put it simply, you are actually unknowingly practicing to be anxious, which sounds totally crazy to me. right? Well, the good news is you can unlearn this by learning how to think in a more positive and helpful way, which was what helped me get out of that darkness. There are 5 steps altogether, so stay with me. Step 1. You need to be more aware of your thoughts. What exactly is this inner voice feeding you? This step might be tedious, but it is essential. Whenever you have a negative thought, type it down somewhere in your phone where it is easily accessible, or write it down in a notebook if you're a pen and paper person. For example, it could just be thoughts such as, why is it always me? Or why can't I do such an easy task? It could also be just a statement like, that's it, they think I'm stupid. Once you start doing that, you become more aware of your self-talk. That brings us to step 2. Start challenging your self-talk. Start questioning the voice. You can question the reality of your thinking, whether it's real and true rather than just imaginary. And you can question the perspective. Could there be another way of looking at this situation? How would a more positive friend see this? What this does is it interrupts your mind going into the rabbit hole as a habit. Step 3. Replace negative self-talk with positive ones. So taking my previous example where I say to myself, why can't I do such an easy task? I can replace it with, well, I always try to do things to my best ability. I might make mistakes, but that's just part of the process like every other person. I can try it again. Step 4. Take control of your brain. There is always a negative and positive side to situations. Both sides could be equally believable, but what makes one side more real is the one you choose to say to yourself. The trick is to choose the most positive explanation and believe it. For example, say you went to an audition for a professional orchestra you have been dying to be a part of, but you didn't even get through the first round. You have 2 ways of interpreting this situation. The negative self-talk would be, I suck. I'll never be good enough for an orchestra. I spent all my years practicing for nothing. I'm just a useless piece of shit. And the positive self-talk would be, that's okay. I'm just glad I got to experience the audition process and the audition itself. Maybe I'm not ready yet, but I will work even harder for my next audition. This is what they call cognitive behavioral therapy. Just by changing the way you think, you can positively influence how you respond to situations. Step 5. Making positive self-talk a habit. Not gonna lie, it took me 4 years to really internalize this book and other readings I've been doing regarding overcoming anxiety, and also to all my lovely friends who have been helping me along the way. It's a long process, but hey, I'm happy I got to where I am now. With each positive self-talk, my neural pathway strengthens and reroutes itself. It's an awesome feeling, breaking free from your own prison, and it just makes you lighter and brighter. I started noticing the good things. I started to be more kind to myself and the people around me as well. I see you made it to this part of the video, so thank you. For that, I'll be sharing with you a really personal story that happened to me that really got the best of my anxiety. So I've been working with this person. Let's call him Alan. So Alan and I had a working relationship, but we slowly broke that barrier, forming a friendship. Things were fine for a while, but he started kind of verbally abusing me, and quite inappropriately as well, while still trying to mask it as showing love and concern for me. Which sounds so ridiculous now, like what the... His words eventually got to me and I was hit hard. I reverted to my overly self-conscious self, thinking that I'm not enough. I knew I had to put a stop to this, in which I ended any form of relationship with him for my own well-being. It took me weeks and months to actually recover from it, and it also didn't help that I was trying to recover from a heartbreak, but that's a story for another day. The moral of the story is, yes, you might be able to fix your own negative self-talk, but who you surround yourself with is also as important. What are these people saying that feeds your brain? Are they really there for you or just trying to bring you down? And I'm saying it's okay to get rid of these people in your life. You don't have to give them a reason once you start distancing yourself from them. I would just say good riddance and move on to a more positive life. There is so much more in this book that I want to share. So give this video a like if you enjoyed this monologue, and we will have a part 2 where I will cover topics such as being mindful, problem solving, and boosting your confidence. Don't forget to share and subscribe as well, and hit that bell button to be the first to know when I upload my next video. For now, take care, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Lights. Check. This is really bad. Oh my god. No lights, no lights.